Roosevelt Island. But it's kind of an interesting island. It's about a mile long and it's very, very thin, only about 800 feet, I think, at most, at its greatest width. And it's got a whole collection of interesting institutions, slowly but surely becoming more open to the public, which is always nice. All right, so we're heading up the East River. You can see FDR Drive. It's already snarled in traffic. And it's one of the things to watch as you look out the port side here is notice as you go along when the streets open up, you get these little canyons. You can see all the way to the Hudson River. So back to our narrative, we pick it up a little bit. The mate runs to get the first mate. They run. He finally gets a hold of the first mate. By now the flames have come out the stairs and they're moving their way up the stairs. The first mate assembles a couple of guys. They run and they grab the fire. I don't see a fire hose here, but trust me, there's one on board. But they grab the fire hose and they uncoil it and fasten it to the standpipe and twist the knob. And the guys had never done a fire drill before, even though they're required to do that many times a year. And water begins to rush through the standpipe and into the hose, and they train the stream of water down the stairs on the fire. And the hose soon bursts. The hose is 13 years old, it's made out of canvas, and it bursts at the seams. In several places, the water stream slows down to a trickle. They drop the hose and run. And that's it. That's the extent of the fire drill, fire safety, and the fire fighting that takes place that morning. Jimmy?
We're going under the Queensboro Bridge, 59th Street Philly Ruby Bridge. And you'll see the Roosevelt Island tram set for many suspense and disaster movies. It's just on the upriver side. And that's one way you can commute to Roosevelt Island. Also, you can drive over the bridge or drive from Queens. Many of the trees that were planted there, the orchard-like trees that are pruned, were paid for by the Civic Association over in Beekman Place and some of the richest real estate in Manhattan, just north of the UN, zillion-dollar co-ops. And the problem was when they went out on their balcony, Roosevelt, the former welfare in Blackwell's Island, wasn't so photogenic and it wasn't so pretty, so they actually paid to improve the view. They fund all the trees on this side, so when they go out their balcony, it doesn't offend the eye.
Is there a bridge connecting?
There's a bridge that connects it on the other, there's a channel on the other side that makes it an island, and a bridge that connects it to Long Island City on that side. See, there's another police boat over there. In here will be the hospitals of special surgery, Sloan Kettering, just one block in on York Avenue. New York Hospital. And then I never get the name right. It was Cornell Presbyterian, Columbia Presbyterian. Weill Cornell. God knows. Anyway, good hospital. I was there myself, unfortunately, and had great care not too long ago. And there's the hospital for special surgery. Again, part of this, the tide is flowing through here, and one of the reasons that it's faster than it would have been when the Slocum went up, and certainly faster than when Adrian van der Donck and the Dutch went up in 1614, is that the river has been constricted, because on both sides, as you saw from the Mannahatta project, there is anywhere from 20 feet to 50 to 100 yards of fill, of rubble, that was dumped along there to make the FDR. So back in those, and naturally, that constricts the channel and makes the water run more rapidly.
What year did they start building the condos here?
The condos here, look, I don't know exactly.
70s?
I would say, yeah, 70s, man.
Sort of like 73 when they designed it.
At one point, the whole island consisted of hospitals and sanitariums, they call them, for TB, mental hospital, and workhouses where you penalize, well, I don't know, that's editorialized, the poor would go and work off their debts. And again, they were confined here. When they closed the smallpox hospital in 1852 at the end of the island, it moved to, are you ready for this? No, not 1/3 of the nation is not the answer. The answer is it moved to North Brother Island, the Riverside Hospital, where the denouement, the tragic denouement of our story takes place. As we're headed up the channel to the Harlem River is to the left on the port side. You're going to see a little island called Mill Island, and that was formed by the boulders that were blasted. Actually, there were two islands, Little Mill and Big Mill, and they joined them together with the boulders that were blasted out of Hellgate. We're going to be turning to the starboard, to the right. This is still the East River, and it continues to be the East River geographically till we get out to Throgs Neck Bridge. But the Harlem River, joining the Hudson, it will be the passage to the left, and that's Ward's Island in front of us. Ward's and Randall used to be two different islands. Now they've been joined by landfill, and they're one. A lot of bar fields and concerts. A very noxious, could smell it this morning, sewage treatment plant. We'll go right by that. And when we go through Hellgate, we'll see Astoria Park on the right, beautiful Astoria Park. Huge public swimming pool that Ed was talking about in the progressive era, providing swimming for youngsters and baths. So that's Mill Island, uninhabited on the left. That's the Ward's Island pedestrian bridge that can be, in days of battleships, they insisted that it be lifted up so a battleship or aircraft carrier can fit under it. That's in the channel on that side.
We're going to go around Mill Rock and then out to the gate.
Built by prison labor.
Ed just said that the White House on the right, beautiful White House built by prison labor from the workhouses maybe. And so now that's Long Island City about to become Astoria on that side. And we're going through something called Hellgate. Hellgate comes from the Dutch. It was Hellegat, named by Adrian Block in 1614, who sailed his boat through it. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers from 1850 to 1920 blasted huge boulders out of it. The problem is, for the mariners, that the tide level in Newark Harbor and Long Island Sound are high tide is 3 hours apart. As a result of that, one side or the other is always siphoning into the other. So
How we're pitching? We're in the churn right now.
The water is going to get rougher, and in those days it was really rough. There were whirlpools, there were rocks that were submerged, and if you, here we're going by Mill Island on the right. Then we're going to turn, and that's the Triborough Bridge to the right, and behind that is the Hellgate, also by Gustav Lindenthal, an Austrian who taught himself everything he knew about bridge design, an autodidact.
Renwick was the same.
Same way?
As an architect.
Renwick, same way. Them and Abe Lincoln, I guess. Again, that's look for birds, and you'll see.
Look at the water churning here. To give you an idea of how
the water's
difficult.
churning, Ed points out. And now we're in the channel north of, again, these two islands joined by riprap that was blasted out of Hellgate, the narrowest portion here that we're about to get into.